In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 simple things you can start doing right now to develop your intuitive gifts. Step number 1 is understanding that your intuitive gifts are not evil, okay? This is a very common thing that people experience when learning remote viewing and intuitive different practices. And it's something that I even experienced when learning this stuff, and I'm not even religious. And so, for people who think that intuitive gifts are evil or it's occult or whatever the case may be, simply don't truly understand what your gifts really are. And it's interesting because let's take Christianity as an example, and I love Christians and I love all people, for the most part, unless they're assholes. But it's interesting because you can practice your intuitive gifts, and somebody in the church can be prophetic, or they can, have the Holy Spirit enter them, or whatever the case may be. But when somebody else does it, it's considered bad or occult or whatever the case may be. So it is of my understanding, and this is my knowingness, and I'm not even going to call it belief, but I just know this, that God, whoever created this world that we live in, wanted us to have these gifts, because if he or she didn't, or they, whatever God is, they just simply would not give us the ability to do it. It's almost like saying, seeing is evil, right? Oh, hearing is bad. No, these are just extra sensory perception that we have through our intuitive abilities. It's just a matter of, are you going to use these abilities for good, or are you going to use them for bad? And really, that's what any tool comes down to, is the intention and the purpose of what is being done. Now, I'm going to get into number 2. Let me say this last thing. It's interesting because when I became a hypnotist, right away, a lot of uneducated Christians would attack me and say, oh, this is magic, this is evil, right? And my response every single time when people would say that stuff, I'd say, it's interesting. Jesus walked on water, turned water into wine, healed people with his hands. He did all these amazing things. But if I do it or somebody else does it, suddenly it's evil. And it's very interesting when you put in that perspective, nobody ever responds back because they have no response. And also in the Bible is stated that Jesus said, you could do what I could do, and even better. So there's so many intuitive gifts that we have, things that I haven't even tapped into yet, that again are part of our God-given right as a human being to be able to do these things. So step number 1 is just realizing that it's not evil, and you can do your own research on that and go deeper into different knowledge and different understanding and research to realize that, yeah, this stuff is actually a tool that we all have. So, and the reason I share that as number 1 is because if you believe it's bad or it's against your religion, your gifts will not come through. You will not have the ability to see things before they happen, or intuitively know, or whatever the case may be, as long as you think they're evil. So the first step you have to do before developing your intuition is realize that, again, this is a gift from God, the creator, that we can actually tap into, and we can use this to help people. Number 2 is when you get over that, start to quiet the mind through meditation. And I like to do this as a practice for people when I teach them how to tap into their intuitive gifts, is to start to predict things before they happen. So in other words, you quiet the mind and see your day and how it will unfold. Some little clues, some little things that you may experience throughout that day. And you'll be surprised at how many things you can actually hit right on the head, right? Whether it's something you're going to see, somebody you're going to hear from, some experience you're going to have within that day. And when you can quiet the mind and just, again, start predicting things that may happen and unfold, that will help strengthen your intuition. Number 1, to help you realize that you have the ability to do this, and it'll help strengthen your skill set the more that you practice it. And number 3, which ties into number 2, is when you are meditating and you're quieting the mind, if you can listen to binaural beats, that'll really help you tap into your gifts. You see, binaural beats help sync up both your left brain hemisphere and your right brain. And when both of your brains are synced up like this, you become very, very intuitive and very, very powerful. So whenever you listen to any type of binaural beats that help you tap into theta brainwave state, that's when you can really, really hone in on your intuitive abilities. I recommend having, if you can have headphones, a left ear, right ear, to really help that experience. And when we're in that theta state, which is the same state as hypnosis, it's that deep meditative state where you're kind of there, but you're kind of not. That's when your conscious mind is checked out, your logical mind that will doubt these abilities and things like this. And you can really tap into that, your gifts by tapping into theta state. So by doing breath work, meditating, listening to binaural beats, you'll start to see these things get activated. Number 4, whenever you're doing intuitive work, maybe you're wanting to know what's right for you, right? Hey, what path should I go down and what path should I stay on? Should I do this or should I do that? You really want to pay attention to the synchronicities, to the serendipities, to those little winks from the universe that are telling you, hey, you are on the right path, keep going. And this can come in a form of many different ways. It could be seeing numbers that you may have just recently talked about or discussed. It may be hearing from somebody that you were just thinking about or talking about. You may, turn on the radio or walk into a room or hit a YouTube video and somebody quotes something that you just had a discussion about or that was just on your mind, right? There's all these different little things that may happen. And when you get that initial, like, oh, I was just thinking about that, or wow, that's crazy. So-and-so was just on my mind and suddenly they called me. So whenever you get those little synchronicities, just know you're in alignment with whatever path that you're on. And for me, it's very important for us to cultivate our internal compass, right? Hey, this is the path to go on. This is where you want to stay on. Because when you're out of alignment, that's where things become very difficult. That's where things become treacherous. And you get a lot of that, the hangups and the pushback. And it almost seems as if it's insurmountable, right? And what will happen is when you start going down the path that's out of alignment with your purpose and your true intentions, you will stop getting the synchronicities, the serendipities. You'll start feeling as though you're like, it's the way I could describe it is almost like there's 100-mile-an-hour winds and you're going towards the wind, right? You're just like trying to power through, give it your best, and it becomes very difficult. When you're in alignment, it's like you're going with the winds towards the path you want to go down. So start to pay attention to those synchronicities and serendipities when you're like, hey, which path is right for me? Should I go down this way or this way? And I'll give you guys a little nugget here. Whatever path excites you the most, whatever gets you fired up, it gets you to feel that passion about like, hey, this is the path I'm going down. That's the path that you want to go down. It makes it very simple and very easy to say, hey, this is the path for me. This is the path I'm going to head down. And when you can follow your excitement, follow your passion, that will really help speed things up when it comes to your gifts and your manifestations. And lastly, number 5, which is something that I've done many, many times over, is to find a mentor, somebody that has already gone through that process of learning these skills so that you can fast track your results. I remember when I first started learning about remote viewing and tapping into my clair abilities, clair knowing, clair seeing, all the different clairs. When I first started doing that, I would read books and I just couldn't figure it out. Like I just couldn't get it, right? And then I would watch YouTube videos. I'd try to do different meditations. And if I did, it was like 1 in 5, right? Or 1 in whatever, where I would find something that was like, oh yeah, this was on my mind. This is what I saw. This is what I heard. This is what I felt was going to happen. And, doing that is obviously good. However, it's going to take you longer before you actually get results, right? So if you can find somebody to go, hey, this is where you need to tweak this. This is what you do instead. This is what's going to happen. And then not only that, they can hold you accountable to learning these skills. That will immediately speed up your intuitive abilities and really help you tap into these gifts. So find somebody who has gone through that process, who can help you speed up those results and activate those gifts within you. And you will see that this is literally the matter of an hour. You can tap into your intuitive abilities. As a matter of fact, obviously I teach this stuff to people, and I've never had not one person up until this moment where we were doing an intuitive exercise and they were not able to see the thing before it happened, right? Or hear in their mind, in their mind, hey, this is what you're gonna come across today. This is what you're gonna see on your path, or feel or know. And so not one person. And that's how I know we all have these abilities. Now, a couple of things I'll give you, some things that'll deter your gifts are, and look, I'm not a doctor, so disclaimer, do what you want with this. Prescription drugs will tend to calcify the pineal gland. It will start to dim those abilities down. Even caffeine, and caffeine is my, one of the things that I obviously consume pretty frequently, probably 4 times a week. So caffeine, lack of sleep, lack of sunlight, these are all things that are going to inhibit your intuitive gifts and your ability. So making sure you get a lot of rest, getting a lot of sun on the skin, sun in the eyes, making sure you're eating clean foods, drinking water, clean water without fluoride, right? These are all things that will help activate those gifts. All right, guys. So guys, if you're somebody who wants to learn more about how to tap into your intuitive abilities, make sure you follow the channel, subscribe. I put out content on hypnosis, how you can learn hypnosis, how you can experience hypnosis with either myself or somebody on my team to help you activate your gifts. Excuse me, that too, to activate your gifts, but to help you level up in your life. So if that's you, make sure you subscribe to the video, hit the like button, and leave us a comment on what your favorite part of today's lesson was. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next video.